Yes, it's good morning, Abuja, showing on the Unity Station. Now let's get to meet our first guest. It is disheartening when you see young ones on the streets suffering from drug abuse, yet people don't know what to do or people have given up on them. And you kind of wonder why is this thing happening, especially among the youth? The question keeps coming over and over again without answers. Now, this morning, I have a guest here in the studio. He is an expert in handling people suffering from drug abuse, that is, victims of drug abuse. He is by name Samson Oguchi. And together we're going to be talking about managing drug abuse victims in Nigeria. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Samson. He is a clinical psychologist, an addiction expert, a certified cognitive behavior therapist, and he works with Vanguard Against Drug Abuse and Detox Center here in Abuja. Please, let's make welcome Samson Oguchi. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good to
How are
have you here. I'm good. I'm doing well.
Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Just like in my intro, honestly, sometimes personally, I feel sad when I see these young ones and I can't do anything about it.
Mm.
Before we go deep into this topic, let's talk about your experience. What even led you in the first place to even say, okay, I want to be managed, I want to even handle these people. Were you once a victim? Do you have family members who are victims? Share with us, please.
All right, thank you very much for the question. Well, for the record, I am not a victim, and I don't
No,
have
you're okay,
any
fine.
family member being a victim. But if you're actually a concerned individual, and if you belong to the field of my career, you will be concerned because of the alarming nature of the effect of the substance on individuals, especially the youth. And you keep seeing the danger it's posing all the time from prosecution from school because they couldn't do well, they joined in bad gangs, and to the ladies prostituting because of the substance, and a lot of their destiny being hijacked by the substance. So it's a concern. So being in this field, I just feel that look, if I have the expertise, what it takes to actually profile solution. So I feel it deem it fit that okay, let me delve into this in court. Thank you.
Okay, so there are so many misconceptions people are having, especially in handling people suffering from drug abuse. A lot of people tend to avoid them completely for the fear of the unknown. What do you take on that?
Well, there are perceived misconceptions that is uncalled for actually. Some people believe that addiction is a moral failure. Meaning that when they don't feel that once you are addicted to a substance or a drug, you are condemned, societally condemned. It's not so.
Yeah.
Addiction is a mind brain disease, meaning that it's a disease that can happen to anybody. Now you agree with me that
When you say anybody, someone that is not taking something good.
yeah, that's it. Now, if you agree with me, there are individuals that at some point in time in their life they might have used one or two substances before, but they didn't get addicted. So if an individual used and got addicted, something could be fundamentally wrong. That needs to be checked. Yes, because we look for what we call predisposing factors in addiction. Then they will look at the precipitating factors. Those are the factors that triggers it. But the underlying factors, which we may get there very soon, is one major thing that make a lot of people hooked on these things. Then a human being very hedonistic in nature, meaning that we are pleasure loving. So some individuals' personality predisposition predispose them to addiction. They don't want to. There are some individuals which are very very erratic in nature. The melancholy in terms of feeling depressed. They want to use something that will increase their mood, and some want to use a depressant that will calm what their mood. So all those factors must be put in check. So it's not something people perceive people wrongly. Then other people look at addictive individuals as okay, you don't have willpower. Why can't you just stop this thing? It's not as easy as that. It's just like you telling someone that is suffering from typhoid, malaria, that why can't you just get well? Well, why are you using medication? That is it. It's a disease according to DSM-5. It's a mind-brain disease. And when you're talking about brain disease, brain is something that we don't see. If an individual has a leg injury, you could tell that the person has a leg injury. But when an individual has a brain disease, it shows that brain is not showing. And most of the time, people notice it when the individual started misbehaving on the streets. But it starts from somewhere. It starts from somewhere. So we need to be liberal in our perception of the way we view addiction. Like I think it can happen to anyone. Not necessarily that it should happen to everyone, but it's something that
That was scary, you know.
yeah, it was scary, right? Now it's something that we should look at it and look. The fact that you escape it does not mean that another person have a deficit personality or mentality not to escape it. So it meaning that anybody can actually fall victim depending on your state of being.
So how do you get these victims in quotes? Like, do people just bring them to you, or you go around, like you move around with buses looking for them? How do you get
Okay,
into the
that's
victims?
a good question. Actually, it may interest you to know that addiction is a big problem right now in Nigeria. Just like we have schools sprouting up everywhere, we have rehabilitation centers everywhere now, and parents are becoming worried. Thank God, parents notice that okay, they have a place that they can actually take these children to. So the parents know about this. They check internet, and those rehabilitation centers, especially my organization, Vanguard Against Drug Abuse and Detox Center, VIGADA, we are there. You can just Googling a rehabilitation center, we pop up, and immediately we come to the rescue. So not necessarily, especially now, this is not cheap. It's not really affordable in terms of for the common individuals on the street. So my organization deemed it fit to actually do community service.
Wow.
Where as I speak right now, we've done two community service in Abuja, where I personally was one that handled the both centers, Nyanya and the Wumba area of Abuja, where we pick them from the street, like you said. We do therapy, 2 weeks therapy sections, and a lot of them came out of addiction. As I speak to you, some that even their parents have even told that we are waiting for you to die, so we'll go and bury you. Yeah, one of my clients, the parent told him that. As I speak to you now, this guy is clean. He has gotten back to his job. He's a graduate. Now he's doing very well. He's even the last time we spoke, he was even planning of settling down. Now, the only issue we're working on now is for forgiveness with the parents and all that. But what I'm trying to say is that people are coming out of it, but there's a little we can do as an organization. We are using the lean resources that we have to achieve this. So if government can imagine government setting up these institutions, these centers in different areas, suburb area of Abuja, seeing that this thing is very effective. Just imagine a lot of people that will come out of it. But the effect is high. You get it?
So in other words, it's actually curable.
It's curable. Addiction is curable. Now, what addiction does to the brain is that it affects the brain in both in structure and in function. That's what we call neuroplasticity of the brain. Meaning because of the addictive nature of the substance, that creates the level of dependency. So it alters the brain function and structure, making the individual dependent on it. This is what leads to relapse and person going back, he stop for 1 month, 2 months, it goes back. So by the time we begin to psychotherapy, we do something called sobriety challenge, where the individual stay away from this substance. So it is believed that when you stay away from this substance, your brain begins to regenerate. That is, if the effect has not been so damaging in terms of severity. When the brain regenerates, a point comes that the individuals begin to make right decisions again. And through adequate psychotherapy and sometimes psychopharmacology, means that medication, the individual gets better again, but with close monitoring. With close monitoring. Addiction is a lifetime disease. Is a journey. It's not a destination. So there's no time that you say, okay, I'm done. For example, I have typhoid, I'm healed. I'm done. No, you must. It's a lifetime journey. As long as you suffer addiction, yes, you have to keep at it.
So that means there are chances that the person can't go back.
Of course, relapse is very high. The rate of relapse is very high when it comes to addiction, especially if the underlying factors are not mostly handled. Relapse is very high.
Okay, so what has been your most effective method of handling victims suffering from drug abuse?
All right, thank you very much. If you talk about effective method, now victims suffering from drug abuse present with different complaints. They what also called present complaints. They come with different complaints, and this complaint differs based on individuality. And what happens is that what works for one may not work for another.
Absolutely.
But there are some things I've observed across board with a lot of, especially the youth that are addicted. I found that a lot of them have issue with existential meaning to life. They have issue with purpose. They are not passionate about anything. So a lot of things goes, and that is why they are easily influenced by peers. So what we do is that when I do my psychodiagnosis, I'll be able to know, okay, this could be a fundamental issue. So I do what we call existential therapy and occupational therapy, where we create the individual to discover his passion and potential. So when that passion is discovered, we reframe it, making it very robust that the individual will be more passionate about. Then we create a business idea out of it, such that the individual can run with that. That from that passion, the individual has become so concentrated in life. Now, addiction becomes more like a secondary activity, which will be, of course, we're definitely going to treat the symptoms and all that. But I found that is quite fundamental. Then we have individuals that has, okay, probably we get to that point, that has mental health issues that can predispose them to addiction. It's just one-on-one thing. Either addiction
So that
predisposing
means
you
the ones they already had
has mental health issue. Yes. Yes, mental health conditions. Yes.
In such cases, what do you do?
Yeah, those are the things we call co-occurring disorders or comorbidity. Now, what happens is that this individual has addiction problem, but he also has some underlying mental health issues. You can't treat one and leave another because one is actually causing another.
Yeah.
So what we do is that we treat them alongside. Sometimes we treat the mental health issues. But for example, an individual that has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and is reacting to this PTSD in terms of panic attack, insomnia. So you realize the individual will be addicted to something like codeine, alcohol, to be aid for sleep. So what we do is, okay, we treat the problem, which is the PTSD for us. We treat it, trauma-focused treatment. Once that problem is solved, the individual don't have any need to take substance to sleep or to aid him or her to sleep anymore. They will now start treating the symptoms in terms of the dependence on the substance, cravings management, and the rest. But you will have to treat everything together, because if you treat one and leave another, then you will definitely go back to addiction.
Yeah.
That is what happens.
So is the organization working to do like collabo with other organizations or with the government? Because you just made mention of something. Yes, you're doing community servicing, but then you also need assistance. You probably cannot do this alone. So are you working to do a collabo?
Yeah, presently my organization is affiliated with NDLE, and
Okay.
which I think we share ideas in terms of professional ideas together, and we do a lot of work together too. But I feel that more can be done, because the initiative of my organization, if it's actually encouraged, we can achieve more. Imagine handling two centers. So imagine if we have more resources and then we spread across board, at the federal capital territory. Just imagine how much we will make from there, or the impact we're going to make from there in terms of recovery. These therapies are free. Now, I didn't mention that presently we have an online group therapy where we got these addicted individuals from Twitter. Now, do you know that we have over 400 addicted individuals on our platform right now? That gambling addiction,
across Nigeria.
yes,
Okay.
gambling addiction, sex addiction, substance addiction. This is crazy.
But don't you think it's idleness that is causing most of these things?
You're right about idleness. Now idleness in the flat sense, but what causes the idleness? Meaning to life. Apart from idleness, now this thing is a learned behavior. So then they started it from childhood. Started with alcohol. From there, bitters. From there, they graduate to weed. From weed, they graduate to other the high intensity. But and look at the gambling addiction. That a lot, like over 2 weeks ago, me and my colleague went to rescue someone that was about to commit suicide. Gambling, yes, exhausted. He borrowed money from the bank, from loan sharks, where he was working. He borrowed money. He was already, they are looking for him everywhere. So, and all the monies have gone into gambling. And he said, there's no need to leave. Let him just end it up. We rescued him, but the point what we're working on now is how to pay back the loans. But we're able to stabilize him. What I'm saying that gambling addiction is one monster that we are yet to even deal with in this country, because a lot of what that means now. The advert everywhere, even celebrities influencing it, they are forgetting the damning danger.
Of course. I know
causing.
we look up to most of these people,
Yeah,
celebrities, as role models.
As role models. So they go and promote these things without the effects, without knowing the damning effects on the youth. So it's alarming.
This
It's
is
alarming.
deep. Okay, so just before we go, share with us because there are so many youths out there watching you who are praying to get out of this addiction. There are parents watching you who's maybe they probably have even given up on their kids or on the people they are training or people living with them. Communities, please, what word of advice would you give such people? At least one of the advice I know should be that we should never give up on these people. These people are also humans. So please share with us some of the things you think we should know and put into consideration.
All right. What I would say is that we should try and practice empathy with these individuals. Now, it is bad enough that they started off the substance and to the point that they got addicted. Let's not crucify them. Let's not actually make them feel bad than they are already. Let's try to empathize with them. Let's try to know what they feel, what they think. Then, above all, refer them for therapy. Very important. Don't let them be on their own because addiction destroys the brain. It destroys the brain to if you get to the point of heavy severity, it gets to the point of normal, meaning that you become psychotic for life, meaning that you use substance for you to be normal again. You have to be using medication.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get to that point. So before you get to that point, let's find help. Let's seek help for them. We do online free therapy if they can't afford to be rehabilitated in our facilities. We also do community service. Hopefully, we will get to your community sometime. Thank you very much.
Okay, so last, before I let you go, how do people reach you? How do, for instance, I asked you earlier on if I saw one on the street, when you said one of the things you said I should refer the person to experts. So how do I refer them to you?
Well,
I even forgot to ask you, have you ever been beaten by any of them before? That's a joke
yeah,
anyway.
I know.
Okay, so
They are my friends.
okay.
We party together.
I know, right?
All right. What happened is that we like NGL. You know that people have this fear for them, but they are doing a good job. Meaning that they have a way of picking up these people and channeling them to the right channel. Even police, police, they are doing the same thing too. When they pick this individual, they always channel them to the right channels.
Right.
But people are always scared. Okay, they don't want to get to the NDLEA, probably indictment and fact. But you can, I believe there are there are helplines that you can call the NDLEA and all that. And probably we can actually float our helpline, my organization helpline. Yes, on the show so that people can pick up numbers. Since we offer free therapy.
Yes, because we need it.
Not free for general in terms of there are some severity we advise for isolation.
What's that?
No, when you talk about addiction, it's in severity, it's in stages. There are some stages that the individual can be managed online because it's an online therapy.
Yeah.
So you need to really have a physical and do some assessment, need medication and stuff like that.
Wow, Mr. Samson Oguche,
Thank you.
Thank you for this wonderful job, for this good thing you are doing. Honestly, the part that really touched my heart was when you said you're doing community services, and that is awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
It was nice chatting with you.
Thank you.
Well, if you just tuned in, you really missed because honestly, what we talked about has to do with you and I, has to do with the whole society, how we can come in, how we can help manage victims of drug abuse, what we need to do. And please stop running away from them. Personally, I have learned not to avoid these people. Well, I'm not avoiding them because I don't want to mingle with them. I'm just scared of maybe slaps or beatings. I love my body, so don't blame me for actually moving away or shifting away a little bit from them. Like I said, now I know how to, come around these people and make them feel loved. Don't crucify them. Don't judge them because some of them, they are probably just victims by circumstances. It is the Good Morning Abuja. Let's take a short break. And when we return, the program continues shortly.